I died, choking on my own blood. The cold tile of our family bathroom floor pressing into my cheek like a lover's final betrayal. The last thing I saw was my mother's manicured nails prying the phone from my limp hand. Her voice a venomous whisper. She slipped. Officer, pills and booze. Poor girl was always so fragile. And then my father, looming in the doorway, his eyes empty as he nodded along, sealing my grave with a lie. But death isn't the end for trash like me, it's just the pause before the rewind. When my eyes snapped open, I wasn't in that sterile morgue drawer or some ethereal void promising justice. No. I was back, 13 months earlier, slumped over the kitchen island in our McMansion in suburban Chicago, the scent of overbrewed coffee assaulting my nostrils. My hands, young and unscarred, gripped the edge of the granite countertop, and the date on the wall calendar screamed it, July 15th, the night before that godforsaken family dinner where it all unraveled. My heart hammered like a jackrabbit's, not from fear, but from the feral thrill of it. I'd been given a do-over. And this time, I wouldn't slip. I'd drag them down with me. The hook lodged in my throat wasn't regret, it was rage. Pure and unfiltered. The kind that turns a good girl into a ghost with teeth. I'd spent my life as Lillian Hayes, the dutiful daughter, the straight-A student from Elmwood High, the one who volunteered at the local shelter because Mom said it looked good on college apps. But beneath the pleated skirts and polite smiles, I was rotting from secrets they buried deeper than my eventual coffin. They weren't just bad parents, they were monsters in pressed khakis. Architects of a life that ended with me framed for murder. The murder they committed. It started small. Or so, I told myself in the haze of that first life. Dad's business trips to Vegas weren't about blackjack. They were about laundering cash for the mob ties he'd cultivated in his construction firm. Mom, the socialite with her wine tastings and PDA throne, turned a blind eye until she started skimming, cooking the books to fund her facelifts and that little coke habit she hid in her Chanel clutch. When the heat came down from the feds, they needed a fall guy. Me. The naive 22-year-old fresh out of Northwestern, interning at Dad's office, who accidentally discovered the discrepancies and confronted them in a fit of misplaced loyalty. You think we're the villains? Dad had snarled that night, his breath reeking of scotch. You're the one who signed those checks. Lil. Your name's all over, Em. Lies. All of it. Forged signatures I'd never seen until the audit. But they pinned it on me, gaslit me into silence with threats of disowning, of ruining my future. And when I finally cracked, threatening to go to the authorities, they escalated. Slipped something into my drink at that dinner, made it look like suicide. Overdosed on opioids mixed with antidepressants. The coroner said. Accidental, they claimed, with crocodile tears at the funeral. But I knew. God, I knew. And now, with this second chance clawing through my veins like adrenaline, I wouldn't play the victim. I'd rewrite the script, starting with that dinner tomorrow. I'd smile through their barbs, nod at their mockery, and plant the seeds of their undoing. Because revenge isn't a dish best served cold, it's a slow poison, sipped with the wine they pour. I spent that first reborn morning in a fog of hypervigilance, every creak of the house a potential threat. The master bedroom upstairs echoed with Mom's laughter on a call, probably gossiping about the neighbor's divorce with her bridge club vultures. Dad was already in the garage, tinkering with his prized '67 Mustang, the one he babied more than me. I tiptoed to my old room, The one with the faded Taylor Swift posters and the desk cluttered with law school brochures I'd never use. My laptop hummed to life. Password unchanged. Family first. Irony at its finest. First things first, evidence. In my previous life, I'd been too scared, too trusting to dig.
But now?
I was a woman possessed. I hacked into Dad's email, Child's Play with the shared family account he never bothered to secure. There it was, buried in deleted folders, wire transfers to offshore accounts, coded emails about wet work on rival contractors. Mob lingo, straight out of a Scorsese flick. And Mom? Her browser history was a goldmine of dark web forums. Chats with a dealer named Silk Shadow about product drops that had nothing to do with skincare. My fingers flew across the keys, downloading files to a hidden USB drive I'd stashed in my sock drawer last time around. But I needed more irrefutable proof, the kind that would make the FBI salivate. A quick search on my phone led me to a PI contact from a true crime podcast I'd binged in college. Discreet investigations, the site promised. I fired off an encrypted email, attaching a teaser photo of one transfer, $250,000 to a Cayman shell company. Need dirt on Edward and Victoria Hayes. No questions. Pay in crypto. By noon, hunger gnawed at me, but I ignored it, pacing the room like a caged panther. Flashbacks hit hard. The dinner table tomorrow, where they'd unveil their masterstroke. Lillian's been struggling, Mom would say with feigned concern, sliding that tampered wine glass my way. Dad would pile on, calling me our little disappointment, the family joke that masked their guilt. Last time, I'd laughed it off, desperate for approval. This time, I'd mirror their cruelty, turn their words into weapons. A knock shattered my reverie. Lil, breakfast, Mom's voice. Syrupy sweet. I froze, then forced a smile, practice in the mirror, teeth bared just enough to look genuine. Downstairs, the kitchen gleamed under recessed lights, all stainless steel and marble dreams built on dirty money. Mom, Victoria, with her blonde bob and yoga-toned arms, flipped pancakes like nothing was amiss. Dad, Edward, broad-shouldered and silver fox handsome, sipped coffee, eyes on his tablet. Morning, sweetheart, Mom cooed, plating a stack drizzled in syrup. Big day tomorrow, your internship review. Nervous? I slid into my seat, fork in hand, channeling the old Lillian just enough to keep suspicions at bay. A little. Dad's got high expectations. He chuckled, low and rumbling. Damn right. Can't have you slacking like that cousin of yours. Ended up flipping burgers. You're our golden ticket,
Kiddo.
golden ticket to prison. You mean? I swallowed a bite, the sweetness cloying. I'll make you proud. The words tasted like ash, but they bought me time. We ate in that faux blissful silence, the TV droning Fox News in the background, endless rants about entitled millennials that Mom nodded along to. If only they knew how entitled their own spawn could get. After breakfast, I excused myself for a run, but really, I drove to the library downtown, parking the old Civic in the shadows. Public Wi-Fi. Anonymous browsing. I cross-referenced the emails with public records. Dad's firm, Hayes Construction, had accidents on job sites, workers vanishing after whistleblowing on safety violations. One name popped, Marco Ruiz, a foreman who'd threatened a lawsuit. Last seen hauling rebar at a site in Gary, Indiana. Body never found. Ruled a runaway. My gut twisted. Had they? No time for nausea. I forwarded the PI, everything. Adding, dig into Marco Ruiz.
Urgent. Then.
The controversial call, the one that would haunt me. I dialed an old flame. Jake. The poli-sci major from Northwestern who'd crushed on me hard. Last life. I'd ghosted him after the family drama.
Now?
Hey. Stranger. I purred into the phone. Miss me? How's law school treating you? His laugh was warm.
Tentative.
Lil? Holy shit. It's been forever. What's up? I need a favor. Hypothetical. I spun the tale. A friend framed by her folks for white-collar crime. Could he leak tips to a DA contact without blowback? His hesitation crackled through the line. This sounds shady.
Lil.
You sure? It's life or death, I whispered, meaning it. He agreed. Reluctantly, my first controversial decision. Roping in an innocent to my vendetta. Guilt flickered, but I stamped it out. They deserved no mercy. Why should I? Back home. The afternoon blurred into prep. I rifled through Dad's desk drawer. Voila! The safe key. Inside, ledgers. Cash bundles. A burner phone with text to boss man. Girls getting nosy. Handle? Time-stamped a week before my death. My blood ran cold. Then hot. They hadn't just framed me. They'd planned my erasure months in advance. Dusk fell as I slipped the phone back. Heart pounding. Tomorrow's dinner loomed like a guillotine. I'd attend, play the part, but with eyes wide open. And when they mocked me as toilet trash, their favorite barb for my failures, I'd smile that calm, deadly smile. Because by then, the PI would have photos. Jake would have whispers in the right ears. And their empire of lies would start crumbling, brick by bloody brick. Night came heavy, sleep evading me like a guilty conscience. I lay in bed, replaying the death scene, the burn in my throat, the betrayal in their eyes. But woven in now was fury's thread, sharp, unyielding. This wasn't just revenge, it was reclamation. Lillian Hayes wasn't trash. She was the storm they'd sown, come to harvest. As the clock ticked past midnight, my phone buzzed. The PI got a lead on Ruiz. Meet at the diner off I-94. 8 a.m. Bring coffee and caution. I deleted the message, exhaling slow. The game was on, and I held the first card. At dinner, my parents mocked me as toilet trash. They didn't expect my calm smile to end them. The diner smelled like grease and regret. A classic American pit stop with vinyl booths cracked from too many truckers' asses and a jukebox crooning Springsteen like it could fix anything. I spotted the PI immediately, mid-40s. Rumpled trench coat, nursing black coffee at the corner table. Frank Malone. His card said, ex-cop. Now playing Sam Spade for hire. I slid in opposite him, 2 styrofoams in hand, mine loaded with cream to steady my shakes. Hayes case, I said. No preamble. Pushing his cup over.
What you got?
He eyed me like I was the mark, not the client. You're bolder than your email suggested.
Kid.
Edward Hayes, crooked as a dog's hind leg. That Ruiz fella? Vanished after confronting your old man about unpaid wages and rigged bids. Word on the street is, Hayes had him relocated to the Calumet River, weighted down with concrete rebar. No body, but witnesses saw the boat that night. My stomach lurched, visions of murky waters and muffled screams. Proof. Frank slid a manila envelope across the formica. Inside, grainy photos of Dad's truck at the docks.
Time-stamped.
A burner call log matching the one I'd swiped. And a bombshell, affidavits from 2 ex-employees. Bought off but cracking under conscience. "They'll testify for immunity," Frank murmured. "But it's your call. You light this fuse. It burns everyone, even you." I tucked the envelope in my purse, the weight of it like absolution. "Send copies to this DA contact." I scribbled Jake's tip line. Controversial? Hell yes. Exposing Dad's mob ties could drag innocents into the crossfire. Workers who'd taken bribes out of desperation. But mercy was a luxury I couldn't afford. "And tail them today. Dinner's at 7. I want eyes on every move." He nodded, pocketing the crypto QR code I'd texted. "You're playing with fire."
Haze.
Family like that? They don't go down quiet. As I drove back through the industrial sprawl of Southside Chicago, the skyline mocking me with its gleaming towers, built on backs like Marco's, the rage simmered into strategy. Last life. I'd been blind to the rot. This time, I'd expose it layer by layer. But doubt crept in. A whisper. What if I became them? Ruthless.
Scheming.
I shook it off. Survival first. Home was a powder keg by midday. Mom was in the living room, scrolling Zillow for that lake house upgrade, oblivious to the storm.
Lil.
"Honey, help me pick, Door County or Finger Lakes." Her smile was Botox tight, eyes darting to her reflection in the screen. "Finger Lakes," I said, casual as pie, grabbing a water from the fridge.
More.
Discreet. She blinked, thrown by the edge in my tone. But I breezed past. Upstairs, I hid the envelope under loose floorboards, old hiding spot from my angsty teen years. Smuggling vodka for parties I never attended. Dad burst in around 3. "Ty Askew." Phone glued to his ear. "Yeah.
Boss.
It's handled. The auditor's off our backs." He hung up, spotting me in the hall. "Internship files ready? Show me what you've got." My pulse spiked, but I led him to my desk, flipping open a binder of falsified reports, the ones they'd use to bury me tomorrow. "All set, Dad." Signatures matched the templates. He scanned it, grunting approval. "Good girl. Can't have screw-ups like last quarter." Last quarter, when I'd overseen the Ruiz payout that vanished into ether. Lies upon lies. As he initialed, I leaned in, voice honeyed. "Speaking of, heard from Marco lately? He was solid crew." Dad's pen froze. Just a beat too long. "Ruiz?
Nah.
Skipped town. Mexicans. Am I right? Always chasing the dream south." His laugh was forced, eyes flicking to mine, probing. I smiled, serene.
Shame.
He deserved better. Dinner prep started at 5. The kitchen a whirlwind of clattering pots and Mom's passive-aggressive sighs. "Lillian, set the table. Use the good china. We're celebrating your progress." Air quotes invisible but felt. I complied, laying out crystal glasses that had seen better toasts than this farce. Roast chicken sizzled, potatoes mashed to creamy submission.
The wine,
The wine, decanted from a 98 Cabernet Dad swore by. Last time, my glass had held more than tannins. By 6:30, the table was set, candles flickering like nervous informants. I excused myself to freshen up, locking the bathroom door to text Jake. Green light. Leak the Ruiz angle, anonymous source. His reply, "This better be worth it." Lil. Be safe. Guilt gnawed again, dragging him into potential perjury territory. Controversial decisions, check. But as I stared into the mirror, tracing the unlined face that wouldn't stay that way, I hardened. They'd made me a killer in their story. I'd make them authors of their own downfall. 7 sharp, Dad at the head, Mom to his right, me opposite like a tribunal defendant. The food steamed, aromas masking the tension. To family, Dad toasted, clinking glasses. I sipped, deep red, bitter on my tongue. No slip this time. I'd poured my own. Conversation flowed like molasses uphill. Mom prattled about the country club gala. Dad griped about lazy unions.
Then,
The pivot. So, Lil, Mom said, spearing a carrot with surgical precision. How's the internship? Edward says you're
adapting.
I chewed slow, savoring the moment. It's enlightening. Learned a lot about hidden costs off-the-book stuff. You know, Dad's fork paused midair. Watch it.
Kid.
Some things stay buried. Buried. Like Marco. I met his gaze. Smile unwavering. Or they resurface. Like old debts. Mom tittered. Nervous.
Oh.
Lillian. Always the dramatist. Remember that school play? You were the tragic hero in such a mess. Her eyes gleamed, testing waters. And there it was, the mockery.
Primed.
Dad leaned back, smirking. Yeah, our little toilet trash. Flushing opportunities down the drain. College debt piling up. No boyfriend. Interning like a secretary. What are we gonna do with you? Last life. Tears had stung. Words lodging in my throat. This time, I laughed light, disarming. The calm smile they'd underestimate. Toilet trash? Creative.
Dad.
But trash floats back up eventually. Stinks up the whole house if you don't handle it right. Silence crashed like a dropped plate. Mom's wine glass trembled. Dad's jaw ticked. What's that supposed to mean? He growled. I shrugged. Forking chicken. Just saying, secrets have a way of clogging the pipes. Like that Ruiz mess. Ever wonder where he went? The color drained from Mom's face. Rouge stark against pallor. Dad's knuckles whitened on his napkin. Drop it, Lillian. But I didn't. I couldn't. The hook was set, now real. Or what? You'll make me disappear too? The words hung. Controversial thunder, accusation veiled as jest, but laced with truth. Their eyes widened, panic flickering. Outside. Rain lashed the windows. Thunder rumbling like distant sirens. Mom recovered first.
Shrill.
You're drunk already? Pathetic. Always the disappointment. Disappointment, I echoed. Voice steel. Or threat. I've seen the ledgers.
Mom.
The calls. Marco wasn't the first. Was he? Dad surged up, chair scraping. Enough. Upstairs now. But I stayed seated, smile fixed.
No.
Dad. This dinner's just starting. My phone buzzed in my pocket, Frank, cups en route. Tip line lit up. The twist of the knife, their empire cracking in real time. As blue lights flashed distant through the curtains, I raised my glass. To resurfacing trash. Cheers. They bolted, Mom to the garage. Dad fumbling for his phone, but it was too late. The calm smile? It was the end of them.
All right.
Not with blood, but with the weight of their own sins. dragging them under. Or so I thought. As sirens wailed closer, Dad whirled on me, face apoplectic. "You little bitch, you did this?" "Learned from the best," I replied, heart soaring. But then the door burst open, not cops, but shadows. Two men in dark suits, faces hard as quarry stone. "Boss says clean house," one growled. "Eyes on me." "Mob cleanup." Dad's insurance policy. Activated by the leak. Chaos erupted, Mom screaming, Dad barking orders. A scuffle. A silenced pop. I dove under the table as glass shattered, wine pooling like blood. When the dust settled, they lay still, my parents, the monsters, collateral in their own web. I crawled out, untouched, the envelope clutched like a talisman. Sirens now real. Closing in. Jake's text. WTF Lil? Mob angle blew up, get out. Twist. I'd ignited a war. Not just justice. As cuffs clicked on the intruders, and medics swarmed, I realized the real end wasn't theirs. It was mine, reborn into a life of witness protection, forever glancing over my shoulder. But for the first time, I breathed free. Trash no more, phoenix from the flesh. No, wait. As they wheeled the bodies away, Mom's eyes fluttered open, locking on mine.
You.
Knew. A whisper. Final. I nodded, smile fading to sorrow. Always did. The gurney rolled, taking her secrets with her. Kinda happy ending, justice, survival. But the cost? A family in ruins. Mine included. Worth it? In the American dream of payback.
Yeah.
Every shattered plate. At dinner, my parents mocked me as toilet trash. They didn't expect my calm smile to end them. The aftermath hit like a hangover from hell, flashing lights carving the night into strobe slice horror. Neighbors gawking from manicured lawns like extras in a cop show. Elmwood PD swarmed our driveway, yellow tape fluttering like surrender flags, while I sat on the porch steps in a blanket that smelled of mothballs, giving my statement to a detective with a mustache like a 70s porn star. They just burst in. I lied smoothly, eyes wide with feigned shock. Arguing about money, then shots. I hid. He nodded, scribbling. Your folks, any enemies?
Debts.
Construction's cutthroat, I murmured, channeling the old Lillian's naivete.
Inside.
The machine word, Frank's evidence planted anonymously via Jake. Ruiz's ghost rising from the riverbed. By dawn, the headlines would scream, mob hit on suburban mogul. But the fine print? Embezzlement probes. Witness testimonies bubbling up like sewage. They hauled me to the station for processing. Coffee that tasted like regret. Questions that skirted too close. Miss Hayes, you mentioned ledgers earlier. Care to elaborate? The detective's eyes bored in.
Sharp.
I blinked, tearful. Just family jokes. Dad's business stresses. Bullshit. But it bought time. Jake called from a burner. Feds involved now. Your PI's legit. Full dossier to the US. Attorney. Get a lawyer. Lawyer.
Right.
I dialed the firm's pro bono line. Irony supreme. Suing the system from within. By noon, I was released into protective custody, a bland motel on the outskirts with a view of a Waffle House and regrets. Frank met me there. Envelope 2.0, wiretaps, bank records, even Mom's dealer chats transcribed. You're clean.
Kid.
They pin the hits on your old man. Insurance scam gone wrong. But the money trail? It leads straight to you. Unless I flip, I finished. Sinking onto the sagging bed. Controversial crossroads. Testify against the ghosts of my blood. Become the snitch who toppled a syndicate. Or vanish into Witsec. A new name. A new life scrubbed of Lillian Hayes. The latter tempted, fresh start in Boise or some podunk town. Flipping houses instead of fortunes. But the former? Catharsis. The full unraveling. Nights blurred into a vigil. TV flickered news. Edward Hayes. 52. Slain in apparent gangland execution. Mom's obit painted her as the grieving widow-to-be. Victim of circumstance. I laughed. Bitter. Smashing the remote against the wall. Secrets unearthed. Dad's affair with the bookkeeper. Mom's side hustle fencing antiques from discontinued sites. Turns out, my framing wasn't just survival, it was personal. I'd caught them mid-tryst once. As a teen. And the gaslighting started then. You're imagining things. Toilet trash. Too much TV. Reborn knowledge burned. I'd enable the testimony. Let the courts chew them up posthumously.
Seize assets.
Expose the rot. But twist loomed. As it does in these American revenge fables. Messy. Unscripted. 2 weeks in, Jake showed, disheveled. Eyes haunted.
Lil.
This is insane. The DA wants you front and center. Grand jury tomorrow. He paced the cramped room. Law books spilling from his bag. But there's blowback. Mobs whispering, your name's out there. I pulled him down beside me. His hand warm in mine. Then we end it. Together. First real touch since college. Controversial in its timing, leaning on him like a crutch. Blurring lines between ally and anchor. We mapped it. My statement. His channels. Frank's shadows. But as he kissed me, hesitant, then fierce, doubt cracked through. Was this love? Or leverage? Grand jury day dawned gray. Chicago's wind whipping my coat like accusations. Federal courthouse loomed. All marble and justice porn. Sworn in. I took the stand. Voice steady. My father. Edward Hayes. Laundered over $5 million through his firm for the DeLuca family. My mother facilitated. When I discovered, they forged documents to frame me, plan my death as suicide. Gasps rippled. The prosecutor leaned in. Evidence. I nodded to the bailiff, files presented, photos projected. Marco Ruiz's face filled the screen, young and smiling from a faded ID. He died for it. They dumped him. The room chilled. Jurors shifted. Faces hardening. Cross-examination was a gauntlet. Defense counsel, hired by the estate's remnants, probed. Motives? Miss Hayes? Inheritance? Resentment? Survival? I shot back. Eyes locked. They called me trash. I proved I wasn't disposable. Verdict? Indictments flew. Posthumous for them. Sweeping for associates. Assets frozen. My inheritance, a pittance after liens. But the real win, headlines shifted. Daughter's courage exposes mob empire. Victim to victor. In ink. Yet, as I stepped into sunlight, free but fractured, the twist gut punched. A shadow detached from the alley, Frank. Cigarette dangling. Congrats.
Kid.
But one's loose. DeLuca underboss, your dad's golf buddy. Says you're next on the list. My blood iced. Jake waited curbside, engine running. "We go now," he urged. "Hand on the wheel." Witsex approved. New identities. Together. Controversial finale. Run. Or fight. I chose flight, not cowardice, but calculus. The calm smile returned as we merged onto I-90, Chicago's shrinking rearview. "Toilet trash no more," I whispered, hand on his knee. Months later, in a Reno suburb, Lila and Jack Harlan, we built quiet. Coffee shops, dog walks, law clinic gigs. Nightmares lingered, dinner echoes, gunpowder ghosts. But therapy unpacked it, betrayal scar, revenge's hollow thrill. One evening, sunset painting the Sierras gold, Jake proposed over takeout Thai. Ring simple, promise profound. "You ended them."
Lil.
"Now start us." I said yes. Tears real. Happy ending? In the Stars and Stripes saga of second chances. Yeah, scarred. But standing. The parents' mockery? Faded graffiti on a life reclaimed. And that calm smile? It saved me. In the end. Twists echo. A letter arrived. Postmarked Chicago. Anonymous. "Ruiz's widow thanks you." Justice floats. I burned it. Ashes to wind. Closure. American style, bittersweet, unyielding.